I didn't know who I was really when I was a freshman, and I didn't know what kind of friends I wanted to have and like who I was going to be. And so by experiencing so many different clubs, events, even just like having my door out open in our hallway, walking in the hallway, going to things like that, meeting people, I was able to kind of learn more about myself and feel like I was able to discover where I wanted to fit in. And
hello, everyone, and welcome to season 2 of the RockCast, a podcast made by Rockhurst University students for Rockhurst University students and anyone who's interested in life at Rockhurst. We're a couple weeks now into the 2021-22 academic year, and this is the first check-in of the new year for the podcast. So there's lots to talk about. Lots going on campus, both campuses, Westport and on Truesdale. We talked to some freshmen on move-in day, which is always a great experience in coming back to campus for a new year, or how do you fit in coming to campus for the first time. Finally, for the returning I Wish I Knew segment, we'll hear the group's thoughts on the best way to meet new people and widen their circle of friends. But first, and for the first time this season, let's introduce our RockCast members for today. If you want to tell us who you are, your year, major, the normal stuff, where you're from, and then something maybe that was unexpected that happened over the summer to you. And we'll start with Daniel.
Hi, I'm Daniel Arroyo. I'm actually a poli-sci major here at Rockhurst and a theatrical arts minor. I'm still questioning what my second major will be, but so far we're on the poli-sci track. This is actually my second year at Rockhurst, so my years are corresponding. But given like our previous circumstances, I like to say that I'm an incoming sophomore. With COVID and everything. Well, it's not really unexpected, but I spent a lot of time in my familiar and like my communal spaces. So like working with my local church and just spending overwhelming amounts of time with my family. We like to think that we're adventurous, but I don't think we're not. I don't think we are. I don't know. What's the funnest thing I did? I will say that I did go to the zoo over the summer, and it might sound like a little bland and dry, but it was a nostalgic moment for me because I hadn't gone to the zoo since I was like a child. Yeah, that's super boring. Don't mind me, but it was a lot of spiritually involving myself and connecting with my family. There was a lot of that going on.
nice.
Excellent. Sydney.
Hi, my name is Sydney Truesdale. I'm a senior nursing student. I'm at Research College of Nursing in Rockhurst University, and I have a minor in Spanish. I was going to double major, ran out of time, but it's okay. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, and something unexpected that happened to me this summer. It's not really unexpected either. I'm a nursing major, but I haven't had any real like hospital experience until this summer. So I had a hospital job. I worked as a patient care tech downtown. So that was really interesting, getting to see kind of what that looks like due to COVID right now. Everything's very understaffed, and it's like it was a really interesting firsthand perspective on, healthcare workers and healthcare field right now. But I learned a lot. So I had a good time. Yeah, I enjoyed my summer. I mostly just worked, tried to save up for the school year, trying not to take out any loans this year, trying to ride my summer cash for as long as possible. So yeah, I worked and I was home with my family. So yeah, I guess that was good. It's going to be my last summer home for a little while. So I was just trying to soak up that family time. So yeah, it was good.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brianna Merle. I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri. I am now a junior this year, and I'm majoring in physics with medicine. I would say something unexpected that happened this summer. I guess it would have to be going out of town. I didn't know that we were going to go out of town to Florida, and I ended up going with my friends and my family. So it was a mix of both, and I didn't think I would have fun with friends and family there, but it was a lot of fun. So that was unexpected. But yeah, we ended up having a great time, and then it was nice because we went during 4th of July weekend.
Excellent. It's the first time you've been on the podcast. And one thing we always ask new co-hosts, if it's a guest co-host or whatever, why did you choose Rockhurst and what makes you keep coming back?
Well, I must say Rockhurst was very financially generous. I'm gonna keep it all the way real with y'all. That played a big part in my decision to come here as a working poor class citizen. But what I will say that prior to me even visiting the campus, I did not visit Rockhurst before the first day of classes because of COVID. I think back in the day, I had like a virtual tour because COVID was like fresh in a surgence. So becoming acclimated with sort of the trialing and exploratory of nature of Rockhurst was a challenge. But even before that, my senior year in high school, I had reached out to like the choral program, the theatrical arts program, the BSU, funnily enough, and like other communal organizations. I remember speaking to very specific folks that made me feel like this was the space. This is where I wanted to be, coupled with the fact that out of state was not an option for my undergrad, at least. And something smaller was far more auspicious for where I was just in my educational ventures. So yeah, I really like it here. I haven't had any problems yet. I found a stable space and I'm fully dedicated to it for the next however many years I'm here. Fun time.
Great. Sydney.
Yeah, so Rockhurst. I started looking at Rockhurst. I know it was really popular. I mean, I get a lot of people from St. Louis end up going there, and my sister actually went here. So that's kind of how I heard about it. And at first I was like, I'm not going to follow my sister. I do not want to go here. But the more I looked at it, it just kept being like, they have a direct admit program, which is really what I was looking for. So yeah, it was good. I looked at it for the program and then ended up staying because, it was affordable. And then when I toured the campus, I was looking for something kind of in between. I didn't want something too small, something too big. And I ended up with Rockhurst, which is on the smaller side, but in a bigger city with, lots of stuff to do. So it kind of found the middle ground for me. And yeah, I don't know. What keeps me coming back to Rockhurst is probably the people and just experiences that I've had. I really like to get involved. I think you can kind of make your experience better by doing that. And the more you put into your experience, the more you're going to get out of it. So I kind of I'm a really big proponent of just trying new things and putting yourself out there. So I joined a lot of clubs and tried a lot of stuff out. I've been involved with campus ministry and Active Minds, and I was an ambassador for a little while. I don't know. I've done lots of different things, but all of those things helped me to meet new people and have some new experiences. And that's what kind of makes Rockhurst fun for me, is the community aspect and walking around and seeing everyone and having Father Curran remember my name. So that's something you don't get everywhere.
Yeah. So for those of you listeners who don't know, Father Curran is the president of Rockhurst, and he just announced, as a matter of fact, yesterday, which would be September 7th, that this is going to be his last year as president at Rockhurst. So it's kind of sad because, like Sydney said, he always knows your name, always stops and talks. Mentioned watching freshmen move in. He was out there carrying suitcases and boxes for
Yeah.
freshmen. So just an all-around great guy. So we're gonna miss him, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everyone for your intros. I'm the host, Chad Schnarr, and if you haven't already, listeners, be sure to subscribe, comment, rate, review wherever you get your podcasts, especially on Apple Podcasts if you're listening there. If you want to watch this, you can watch it Zoom. You can watch a Zoomcast on youtube.com/rockerstalk. If you have any questions or topic ideas, or you're interested in being a guest co-host, let us know. You can send us a direct message on Instagram at Rockhurst University, or contact us through rockhurst.edu. So last season, if you will, treating this still like a television show for some reason. But right before move-in, we previewed move-in day and what it would be like. And now that it's passed, how have things gone so far for you two this year? Getting reacclimated to classes, the mask mandate is still there if you're indoors. Just how have things gone for you? Any challenges, any surprises, anything like that?
Yeah, it's been super weird coming back from last year to this year because I'm a senior, but I honestly can't believe that, which I guess that's a common feeling for a lot of seniors. But I feel like last year didn't happen. So it's like such a weird feeling to be like, this is my last year and really like nothing happened last year. So I'm really trying to take everything in. And yeah, it's been kind of different trying to get back into the flow. Like all my classes last year were virtual. So that's been an adjustment getting back into the schedule of, having to get up earlier and drive to research, which is like 10 minutes away. And so having to get up and drive there rather than roll out of my bed and go to my living room has been an adjustment. But it's been good. I'm so happy that things are getting back to the way that they were and being able to participate in events. And I think it's gonna bring a lot of people closer together. And I don't know, I can't speak for maybe like Daniel's experience as a sophomore, but like I don't know how that's been coming from, like high school or wherever. Maybe even you would have had like one normal semester, right? So that's been kind of weird, I guess. But for me, it was kind of weird going from having a couple of years of normal to nothing. And then now hopefully like I remember like what it used to be. And I'm really excited for that. So yeah.
Excellent. Daniel, how's it going so far for you?
Yeah, for me, it was as odd, I would say. And it's funny that you mentioned that I'm a sophomore because I think that was very like, I don't know, there was just a different energy around just coming into college. And I didn't really have a move-in day. My move-in day was driving down State Line Road and into Truesdale and into the parking lot.
That's crazy.
And I was a commuter last year too. So I didn't even have any of that. What I will say is that this whole space of the first week and the anticipation of just settling in yet for another year, as weird as it might feel, and I'm sure you can relate to this as well, it just invokes this energy. I've never been a fan of the first week. I immediately associate like the whole world with having to introduce myself in class, and I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I always feel like I'm a hot mess during the whole, my name is Daniel, blah, blah, blah. This is my major. I get weak in the knees, okay? But yeah, as an incoming freshman last year, and for incoming freshmen this year, I would advise y'all to just brace yourself. We are undergoing some really uncertain times, and just make sure to change the oil on that car, do what you have to do, because that car is going to be your ride or die for the next 4 years, literally your ride or die. Yeah, it's fun times. It's very weird, very weird. Weird's the word for that.
Okay. Do you come into the year with any goals like this year? Well, sitting here as a senior, it's, I want to graduate, but do you have anything like this year, I want to do this a little bit different, or anything different from previous years that you want to kind of incorporate into what you do?
Yeah, I think I don't necessarily, well, I guess I do go into the year with an expectation or a goal, maybe not intentionally. I think this year especially though, I had a goal of just really soaking up my last year and putting myself out there again. I think when I came to college, I was also kind of the same way. I was so focused on, I really wanted to meet people and putting myself out there and trying to get involved. And I was just doing everything I could to do that. And then I had to kind of refocus and be like, oh, you're here for school, like kind of settle in and hone in on my academics like that next semester and then the past year. And then kind of had to learn the process of, being selective in where I put my time. So that was a goal I had like sophomore year. And then last year was just kind of getting through it and staying connected with people as much as possible. So this year I'm just really, really hyped to be back in doing activities and events. And my goal for this year is to just enjoy it, honestly, and to graduate, of course. So, finding the balance between work and academics and, activities. But yeah, just soaking up my time here and hoping for the best this year. So
Right on. Mm-hmm. Daniel, expectations coming in this year? Any goals for you?
Big goals. I don't necessarily have like huge goals that I'm looking forward to or anything that I want to accomplish by the end of this year necessarily. A lot of the goals that I have for this year are usually tied into like the goals of my overall collegiate experience. But I'm right there with Sydney. I think I'm here for a fun time this year, but I'm also here for an educational time, and just bridging those together, it's going to be quite adventurous.
Okay, so on the other end of the college career, we've got Sydney as a senior trying to soak everything in before she's done. We've got new freshmen coming in now. Bree, you're an RA, so you got to see how students came in, are adapting to a new year, living situation. If it's first year students, if it's students coming back, how have things been so far from your point of view in the dorms?
Yes, I would say from an RA perspective, the transition for first year students have been completely different from last year to this year. I know last year, it was very hard to get people out their rooms, get people to talk to each other. But this year, I see them going everywhere. Like, oh, we want to go to an SAB meeting. Oh, we want to go to a BSU meeting. Does someone know the president of Active Minds? Like, it's just like going back. I actually did ask me that the other day. And, it's just been amazing to watch because I look at them and their experiences, and it reminds me of the experience that I had this year. And I know it's not the exact same because it's still like restrictions due to the pandemic. However, you see kind of like a new burst of energy on campus, and not only for first year students. And I remember I went to some of the first meetings of different organizations, and they just had a great turnout, like an absolutely great turnout. Because I know like attendance, a lot of organizations struggled last year. But seeing this new fire in the first year class is very exciting. They have Frosh Getaway this weekend, which is a first year only retreat that is I will be going to. So I'm just so excited about that, and I'll be able to meet the students. But yeah, I would say it's a big difference, and it's a good one. So yeah.
That's very, very positive. Sydney and Daniel, have you kind of seen the same thing? Much different vibe on campus this year?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think even from my point of view, like even the sophomores this year are kind of like at some of our Active Minds meetings, like we've had a couple of students who are sophomores come and be like, I didn't really do anything last year and I'm just looking to get more involved. So I think even among sophomores and the freshmen, there's a lot of excitement, but for sure among the freshman class, you can tell that they're really excited to be back on campus and like doing stuff. So yeah, there's definitely, like Brie was saying, there's definitely some hype in the air. So yeah, for sure.
For me, I keep coming back to this, but it's so like raw. Last year was my first year. And so prior to last year, I didn't know what like Rockhurst climate was, what the Rockhurst space was. I didn't know what that felt like. I didn't know like what the communal environment was gonna approach me, or how I was gonna approach the communal environment. Of course, I see like the drastic differences. I see people being more conversative. I see people just being more involved. I find myself being more involved, making more friends. But it's like super weird because I remember last year, everyone would tell me about like the parking, like good luck getting a parking space, good luck finding places on campus, and good luck getting to class on time because there will be a whole bunch of people outside. And I was like, okay, well, I went to Ample High School, like I'll get used to it. This is all right. But then this year, my second year, we're a lot more communally involved and stuff. It's totally different. it's it's like drastically different. So yeah, I'm still in that process of acclimating, doing what I have to do to find myself in at Rockhurst.
That's so funny that you mentioned parking because the street that I live on, I mentioned I live really close to campus. And last year I had no problem finding a parking spot outside my house because we're very close to campus. And this year I can't even sometimes find a spot on my own street because it's packed.
Right.
It's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't even think about that, honestly.
Yeah.
So during move-in day, speaking of freshmen and returning students and stuff, we had a chance to talk to a lot of freshmen and orientation leaders, some RAs, about what they were seeing. So we're going to hear from them now and kind of get your comments on, are they in for it here, or does this sound about right?
My name's Valerie Gale. I'm a sophomore here at Rockhurst. I'm a nursing major, and I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois.
What is your role this weekend?
I am going to be an orientation leader this weekend, so I'm going to try and make the new students as comfortable as possible in their first week here.
Okay. What have you seen so far from the new students? Are they excited or?
I've seen a little bit of a mix of both. I've had some students who are really missing home, but it's my job to kind of keep them busy so that they think more about what the year is going to bring rather than what they're missing at home.
Okay. And what are you personally looking forward to this year, your sophomore year?
My sophomore year, I'm excited about orientation because that's what I'm doing right now. I'm excited to meet a lot of the new students and be the first kind of leader that they get here. But I'm also just excited to learn more about what my major and future career holds for me.
Excellent. And what advice are you giving the new students as they come in?
I'm just telling the new students that even if they miss home or they feel uncomfortable, Rockhurst does a really good job of making everybody feel acclimated. It's a small university, so that means that if you meet one person, you'll probably see them on campus a lot, so you'll always feel that sense of comfort of just knowing a bunch of people.
I'm Ashley Diaz Rocha, and I'm from Kansas City, Kansas, and I'm double majoring in biology and Spanish.
Great. And what are you looking forward to this year?
I really look forward to meeting new people and making new friends, and probably the classes as well. I'm really excited for the courses, ready for a challenge.
Right on. And freshmen?
Yes.
Okay. And what organizations or anything do you plan to be a part of, or just see how it goes?
I really decided on joining the Latino Student Union. I'll probably join the dance team as well. But other than that, I think I just want to see how it goes.
My name is Grace Farnan. I'm from Columbia, Missouri, and I am majoring in public policy.
Great. And what are you looking forward to this year?
I'm really excited to take classes that I'm actually interested in.
Like what?
I'm excited for my Intro to Public Policy class, and I'm taking a cool music class along with a business seminar that I'm really excited for.
Any organizations or sports or anything you want to be a part of? Or?
I might join a sorority, but I'm excited for the free stuff fair so I can learn about all the organizations.
Excellent. And has anyone given you any advice on how to survive this year?
They really just keep saying get involved, keep your doors open, be willing to meet people. So I think if I just put myself out there, I'm going to make a lot of friends and have fun.
My name is Andres Agun Gordillo. I'm from Chiapas, Mexico. My major is engineering, I think mechanical engineering.
Okay, and what organizations are you a part of, or sports or anything?
I'm part of the tennis teams, of the men's tennis teams. In any other organization, I'm going to see what's happening in the course of the year. I don't know.
Okay, and what are you looking forward to the most this year?
Well, I'm looking forward to the classes. I'm really interested in how it will be. Also on the trainings with the tennis teams and the spring season. I'm really excited for that.
And why did you choose Rockhurst?
Because I thought it was the best opportunity for me to come here to USA and play tennis while I can still studying.
All right, great. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Riley Ann Sofer. I live here in Kansas City and I'm doing physical therapy.
And what are you looking forward to this year?
Meeting new friends.
Okay, and how was your summer?
I just worked the whole summer, so.
Really? So this will be a little bit of a break for you?
Yeah, I worked 7 days a week the whole summer.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So you come in with a big pile of cash.
Yeah.
Right.
But I all went to college, so.
Yeah, so it does. Let's see. Are you planning on getting involved in any organizations or anything?
I want to also join a sorority.
Okay. Do you have one in mind?
I do not.
No? All right. And what's the best advice someone's given you about coming to college?
Just to meet new friends, be open to anything.
I'm Abby Maroney. I'm a junior this year. I'm a second-year RA in McGee, and my major is Communication Sciences and Disorders on the speech pathology track. Yeah, so a resident assistant is definitely the person that is kind of the go-to on your floor or in your area for questions, just kind of resources on campus, person you go to for anything really. We're there to help you. We're there for any questions you might have, any concerns. Sometimes we might seem kind of scary, but we're really not. We're just there to help you. We want to be that person that can help you. This weekend, we're just trying to get you settled into campus and feel comfortable and make it your home. We're really just trying to get you acclimated to the environment and the people, and we want to help you create that community right away. We have seen a lot of excited students. There's already a lot of excitement in the buildings. We've had a couple athletic move-in. We had early students move in on Tuesday. We've seen a lot of friendships forming already. A lot of floor communities are forming at the moment, and then this weekend we've seen a lot of excited parents, sad parents, and then the students are definitely excited, a little bit nervous, but mainly excited. I feel like there's a lot more movement in the buildings. There's a lot more people and activity. It's a little less careful and cautious. We still have precautions in place, but it's a little bit more like it was my year when I moved in.
My name is Bjorn Anderson. I'm from Little Canada, Minnesota, and I'm undecided on my major. I'm looking forward to being in a different state, being home, away from home for a little bit, and just meeting some new friends. Playing men's lacrosse here. I'm a midfield, but play anywhere the coach wants me. I'm just excited to meet all the guys and hopefully go on a little run during the season and just have a good time.
All right, does that bring back some memories or sound about right?
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember move-in day. I was so nervous. Oh my gosh. But yeah, that's funny. I love it.
I have my parents and my grandparents with me. Imagine that plus everything that we have in the car.
Yeah.
Comfortably. I was in the back with literally all my stuff squished. One of the things I remember that stood out the most was when we came up into the circle. We didn't get to do this year, but people were labeling our boxes, our bags, and then they said you can check in and go up to your room. I'm like, okay. So I went up with my family, and they just started bringing the boxes and the bags to us. Them were there. All my stuff was there in like under 5 minutes. My dad was so happy. He was so happy. He knew he was going to do most of the work. He was so happy that he didn't have to lift anything. So that was kind of like something that I remember from then.
I remember looking over and being like, who? Because I didn't know who Father Curran was at the time. Being like, who is this old man carrying these huge suitcases up the stairs? I was like, is he? And then I remember that because he carried one of my roommates' luggage up to her room, was like helping us move in. And I was like, this guy is so nice. Like, who is he? So and he came over and introduced himself. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's the president of Rockhurst. I had no idea. It was so funny because he was over there huffing and puffing and lifting boxes and meeting people. And that's the thing that sticks out to me the most but like Bree, yeah, we had so much stuff, but it was so helpful with everyone there helping with move in. That was a huge perk that my parents were very happy with too.
Yeah, that was so cool. Like I saw Father Curran helping out, and I was just thinking to myself, like, I'm pretty sure a lot of the first year students don't even know that the president was helping them with their boxes.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he didn't even mention it, and that's how humble he is. I just thought that was just so cool.
If you really got freshmen to tell the truth on this, what is more important to them, fitting in early or classroom stuff?
I think if you asked most students, they would say fitting in. That's my opinion. I know that's how I felt, at least. I came to Rockhurst for the program, but I think right at the beginning, you're so overwhelmed with everything that's new, and you feel like stressed by all the people who are there, and you're like, I need to find community, like right now I need to find people. And so for me, at least at the very beginning, that was my focus. And so I think if you went around and asked everyone, that would be at least what they're feeling right now. And then in a couple weeks, once it gets into the more nitty gritty and people start having more tests and exams, I think that's when people will start to maybe talk about, I'm focused on my school. But I think for at least the very beginning, people are really trying to meet new people and make connections, make friends. Do you guys agree? I don't know.
I definitely agree, because I know like last year we had a big emphasis on theme on belonging. And I think that I'm even just kind of like thinking about an RA perspective as well, but students who they belong have a sense of like group of people that they like, or like people that they have met, or even a good relationship with faculty, you see them thrive more than the ones who don't, per se.
Yeah.
It can also go into like retention and everything like that. But I do believe that in the beginning, although academics are very important, I think finding your place at Rockhurst will really allow you to thrive in all other areas as well.
For sure.
It's funny we're going into this, because I was just contemplating this a few days ago. To answer your question though, I think for me it was a little different. Ideally, like we would like to find a balance in these things, like being socially incorporated and also academically dedicated. But I'm gonna keep it real with y'all, and this is like the fifth time I say that. I'm a real person, so I'm gonna keep it real with you. We're college students, and for the freshmen, we have been inaugurated into this new world of adulthood. So it will be kind of instinctive for us to incline one way over another regardless. But I would suggest first and foremost to try your absolute best to be good at both. I can't stress that enough. You have much to gain from being good at both. You know, I was thinking it's a skill set that not only is necessary in college, but something that will be required of you as you navigate in life, period. You almost never have ample time to do both. I had somebody tell me that once. You will almost never have ample time to do both what you want and what you should do, but you will always have enough time to work with what you have. And when I think of my parents, for example, like I think of how many things they have to poise, or Sid and Bree, I think you might agree, like your parents, or Chad, you as a professional, just period, think of how many things you have to poise, and you all still have enough time to cater to us, to cater to your work world and to yourself. So surely they'll tell you they wish they had ample time, but in the collegiate space, I'm still working on that. I know I still am. And I want folks to know that that is absolutely okay. You come to school to be a learner, and part of your dedication to learn requires you to build on skills like navigating the space. So it's really interesting that we got into that, because I think a lot. I'm a thinker, and I was contemplating that the other day.
Yeah, definitely. Finding that balance from everything that like administration and Bree from RA, you know, you're teaching them is, you know, find that balance between getting involved and making sure you can stay at school with your grades.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be ideal.
I want to reiterate that it wasn't an either or question. It was what is more important at the very beginning when you came down to it. So for you guys, actually, before I even move on there, Bree, you said something about once you feel more comfortable, once you feel you belong, the other areas kind of blossom and explode, and they are more successful too. So that's important. So for you guys, how long did it take you as freshmen or first year to feel like you belonged, to feel like you fit in or found your people?
Like I said earlier, I feel like I'm still in the process of doing that as an incoming sophomore. You know, all of the last year was just hectic. But for my freshman year, prior to coming to Rockhurst for my freshman year, I attended like a college preparatory school before coming to Rockhurst, so that helped a lot. I like to think that I'm good at acclimating, just speaking generally, but I'm also young, gifted, and loud. So the craving, or the yearning, I should say, that's a little weird, to find myself in this new space was very much still there. But if I had to give you like a frame of time, it was probably by the second month. So around kind of where we are now. But last year around like September, I had met my new friends by then. I knew what spaces I wanted to reside. I knew what I wanted to do for that year. So yeah,
That's
around
crazy.
like a few weeks, the first few weeks.
It took me like, oh my gosh, so much longer to feel like I was
Wow.
finally fitting in. I feel like I didn't feel like I had like a, like my set group of people until like honestly like the beginning of my junior year. I just think my freshman year, I mean, I think by like second semester freshman year, I felt like I had a group of people, but at the same time, a lot of those people were people who, were living on my floor that year, or were, friends I had met in the first week, and we all just kind of like stuck together, but weren't necessarily like my people. And so I think I kind of felt I had this moment like freshman year where I was like, are these my people? Is this like who I want to surround myself with? Is this what I'm really going to be doing? And I had to kind of figure out who I really like connected with. And so sophomore year, things kind of switched around. I mean, we were no longer in the same dorm together. And so that changed my friendships a lot. And so that was an interesting adjustment for me. And I kind of had to find a new group of friends. And then, I kind of was in this group, like even now, I think it's still changing. Last year I had this group of friends who were older than me and younger than me. And then, half our group graduated. So now it's like weird. So I think for me, it's constantly evolving every year, and just kind of staying open. And it's been a process. I think I feel at home at Rockhurst, and I know that Rockhurst is my place, but the people that I find, I think since my group has kind of changed so much, that has left me open to meeting new people. And so that's been kind of a blessing at Rockhurst, that I'm continuing to meet new people and have new relationships. But yeah, I think long story short, it took me a little while to feel like I had a place.
Was there a turning point for you, or like,
yeah, I think the turning point probably for me was it was probably the beginning of my junior year, end of my sophomore year, beginning of junior year. I was maybe even the beginning of sophomore year was kind of the start of the turning point. My friend group had changed, and I was involved with Frosh. I was a Frosh leader, and we had a team of people, and I didn't know most of them. And then by the end, we were really good friends, and that opened me up to a lot of people outside of, my original group, and kind of helped me to spread my wings a little bit and kind of find where I fit in. And then I'd say also end of sophomore year into junior year, I had applied for a lot of leadership opportunities, and there was a lot more opportunity for growth in that way. And so once I started getting my positions in the different activities that I'm involved in, that kind of, I was able to kind of really prioritize for me what was important. And then, I think probably the end of junior year, or the beginning of junior year, end of sophomore year. So yeah.
Okay. Now they do say, and rightly so, that the more you can get involved, the more you put yourself out there, the quicker all that turns around. And Sydney, can you kind of talk about what you're involved in now, and a little bit about Active Minds? Spoiler alert, you're involved in Active Minds.
Yes.
And what they do and the services they kind of provide.
Yeah, so I have been involved in quite a few things. At my Rockhurst experience, I was an ambassador. I'm no longer an ambassador. I was an ambassador for like a year. I used to be an SAB. I'm also no longer an SAB, but I am involved with campus ministry. Like I mentioned earlier, I was a frosh leader, which is our freshman retreat leader. And so I did that. And then I was also a coordinator for that position last year. And Bree mentioned how she's going there this weekend. I'm also going this weekend. I got asked back to come, so they had enough people. So I'm leading another team this year. So I'm really excited for that. And last year I was also a retreat on the Rock leader, which is another retreat through campus ministry. And then my other passion is Active Minds, mental health. I'm the president of Active Minds this year. We are a mental health club centered around destigmatizing. Yeah, woo, Daniel. Centered around destigmatizing mental health and starting that conversation on college campuses and kind of hoping to break down the stigma of mental health. So, yeah. And Active Minds, we are open to all people. I joined as a freshman because I was looking for something to get involved with, something that felt like a community and a place where I could kind of have a space to be myself. And that's what I found with Active Minds. We're centered around starting those conversations. And so it's a very laid back atmosphere, but we also want to promote education because for a lot of people, coming to one of our meetings is the first time they've ever talked about their mental health. And so we like to start those conversations and kind of, raise that awareness. And this is actually the timing of this meeting is kind of funny because I don't know if when you guys edit it, if it'll come out at a later time, but this Friday is September 10th and it's National Suicide Prevention Day. And so we're going to be tabling and spreading the word about that because among college campuses, it's, I think, the second leading cause of death among college students. And so for them, I think the statistic is 60 to 80%. I can't remember which one of all college students experiencing a mental health crisis turn to one of their friends first. And so we are trying to raise awareness and to educate people on mental health, how to handle it and start those conversations. And yeah, so that's what Active Minds is all about.
Great. And if anyone listening to this wants to reach out to someone, is there does Active first of all, we have the counseling center.
Yes.
That they can reach out to. How can they find out more about Active Minds?
So to find out more about Active Minds and resources on campus, like you mentioned, we do work a lot with the counseling center, and that's a free resource for Rockhurst students that I would highly recommend taking advantage of. They're super awesome. And whether it's just popping in to say, I need some help, like prioritizing my time studying for tests, or you're struggling with something like anxiety or depression, they're there for you as a resource, and I'd highly recommend. We also have, as a Rockhurst students, all Rockhurst students, we get a premium subscription to an app called Sanvello. So if, like therapy or conversations, counseling isn't your thing, the app Sanvello is kind of a meditation app, and there's lots of resources there as well. You can kind of track your emotions, how you're feeling, and it gives you guided meditations and resources, activities to kind of help with your mental health. So lots of stuff there to find. And yeah, we have an Instagram, Active Minds, which is where we post about a lot of our meetings and resources. And so feel free to check that out. But also a cool thing that we were able to implement a couple of years ago, on the back of all student IDs is the number for the suicide prevention hotline and the counseling center, as well as some other resources. We've got RU Security and then the crisis text line. So if ever you're in doubt, but you need some resources, you can just pull it up on your ID. So there you go.
Good to know. And Daniel, granted last year was a little bit of an anomaly, well, a lot. With how it was with COVID, but this year, what organizations are you looking to get involved with?
Yeah, last year we were all vulnerable to what we had and what we could work with in terms of just being college students. So I did do some things last year, but a lot of what I did last year were visitations, and I wasn't fully committed to org life, for a lack of a better term. But this year, I am still part of our theater efforts at Rockhurst. So I'm looking forward to privileging that yet again. We have some things going on with the theater world every year, and I always feel like we're very underrated here at Rockhurst. So look out for that. We do have our spring and fall events here coming soon. And I don't know if I can fully expound on this yet because we're still going through the process of inaugurating what will be our Black, Indigenous, People of Color Student Support Group here at Rockhurst. And I'm thrilled to collaborate on the executive board for that, but that's still yet to come. Hopefully by the end of this year, we'll have solidified our presence here at Rockhurst as an organization. This fall, though, I'm very excited because this fall, the Rockhurst Campus Ministry will be embarking on our civil rights immersion trip to Alabama. They do an immersion trip every single year. So I'm thrilled to be a part of that collaborative effort here in the fall. Tour Alabama, and just civil rights is my forte, and I'm a poli-sci major and I'm involved in criminal justice. So I'm really looking forward to that. I commute from around the block, as I mentioned earlier, from KCK. So I'm involved in my local church, like our youth group, our choir, and I promote my ministry there. And I work a part-time job as well. I'm both busy and blessed over here. But as far as Rockhurst comes into play, you asked me what I'm looking forward to, like working and joining and that kind of stuff. I'm keeping an eye on, well, now Active Minds, our campus ministry, Active Minds, our campus ministry for sure, perhaps Soul as a Latino, BSU, and some other things we're going to get into soon. But I'm thrilled. I'm very thrilled for what's yet to come this year. I'm bracing myself because, like I said, we're both busy and blessed.
Nice, very good.
Awesome.
BSU, for those who may not know, is Black Student Union, and Bree had to run to class, but Bree is the president of Black Student Union this year, among many other things she's involved in, including going to class. So we weren't going to stop her from going there. Okay, so our last little quick segment here is called I Wish I Knew, and what this is, for those who don't know, is if you could talk to your freshman self before you entered college about a certain topic, what would you say? And this week's topic is how to meet new people, how to expand your friend group. If you could talk to your freshman self, what would you tell them about getting acclimated and fitting in, finding your people? What's the one piece of advice you would have?
I would say, if I may, just to be your authentic, raw, humble, and transparent self. Being the most authentic and raw version of who you can be will keep you grounded, especially in college. I don't know if I'm a tenant of making friends. I always say that when I am most vociferously the best version of myself is when I am in my circle, when I am being myself and my circle finds me. My best friend on campus, we weren't looking for each other. We found a basis of honesty and then became kin to one another. I would just say, don't worry about networking yourself too much. This is not an internship. It's not your career. It's also not Hollywood. So focus on just being and just existing in a communal space that will draw in people for you. And nobody's gonna tell you this, but this is the world we live in for now. And in the world we live in, there will invariably be folks that you just might not click with. And that's absolutely fine. That's absolutely okay. As long as you're being considerate, professional, respectful, things will be all right. Not only is that a big part of your voyage and the collegiate and the educational experience that you are about to have, but also in life. So don't beat yourself up too much. It's okay to just be vulnerable and be transparent.
Excellent. City.
Yeah, I would probably go back and tell myself to hang in there and that everything was going to be fine, to not worry so much and to just take in the time that I was experiencing. I think I would be proud of myself for getting out there and putting myself out there. As someone who can be sometimes pretty introverted, I find it easier to put myself out there. And I really kind of immersed myself head on into Rockhurst and tried to just step out there and try new things, experience new clubs. And that led me to a lot of kind of what Daniel was saying, that led me to meeting people who I really clicked with. And, I didn't know who I was really when I was a freshman, and I didn't know what kind of friends I wanted to have and like who I was going to be. And so by experiencing so many different clubs, events, even just like having my door out open in our hallway, walking in the hallway, going to things like that, meeting people, I was able to kind of learn more about myself and feel like I was able to discover where I wanted to fit in. And I would encourage myself to keep putting myself out there. And yeah, I think my freshman year self just needed to hear that I was going to find my squad eventually, whether it happens in 2 months like it did for Daniel, or 2 years like it did for me. You will get there, and it'll all work out. Just have a little faith.
Excellent. Really good stuff, guys. Appreciate your honest answers, and really appreciate the info on how students can reach out and get some support if
absolutely.
they think they're going through a rough time. So many thanks for that. And that is it for season 2, episode 1 of the RockCast. So Sydney and Daniel, thank you for hosting here with us. And for you listening, thank you so much. You can find us and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts. To watch the discussion, you can go to Rockhurst YouTube page, youtube.com/RockhurstTalk. So for Bree and Sydney and Daniel, this is Chad Schnarr. Have a great week, a great year, and go Hawks.